It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, my pretty babies, what is going on? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You guys are checking out a new RCWR show for this Monday night of April 8th, 2024. We are minutes removed from WWE RAW, as this is the bookend to the WrestleMania week-long extravaganza. I gotta say, I love this time of the year, but at the same time, I also realize that it's a lot of shows that we pump out all during that week, but to have the payoff, the finish be the RAW After WrestleMania edition, let me tell you something. Kudos to everybody involved in WWE with this RAW After Mania edition, as it had that great vibe. It had that fantastic feel that was missing for a couple of years there. You guys know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. I love that feeling that we had got, and most importantly, we had it in front of the right type of crowd that was so freaking energetic, very vocal, very passionate all throughout the night. I loved me some of that crowd, man. That is what was up. Hey, what did you guys think about tonight's RAW After WrestleMania? Sound off. You can let your voices be heard. Put a little thing in the comments, or you can cast your vote, X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR show, or youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab and cast your vote that way. I gotta tell you, I didn't think I was going to be able to do the show tonight because it's been a yearly tradition. Normally, you'll have people just from out of the clear blue, and then those that haven't done a podcast in a year or 2 years, maybe they'll come around for WrestleMania weekend and then the Raw after, and then they disappear again. But no, we have always been just dedicated to the festivities going on WrestleMania week, doing multiple shows, including talking about the Hall of Fame, covering night 1 and 2 of WrestleMania, Raw After Mania, all that, SmackDown, all that good stuff. But I didn't think we were going to be able to do this show for you guys because I had unfortunately caught a little bit of the sniffles from my wife, and I'm going, yo, the timing of this sucks. And she's like, okay, take some Dayquil, take some NyQuil, take some Mucinex, take some vitamin C, emergency vitamin C packs. I'm like, okay, cool. So I feel a little bit better. It did help. I also got a little bit of rest in there as well, because I got to be honest, I wasn't really getting that much sleep between work and covering all the goodness that is WrestleMania. But I feel good enough to do this show for you guys, so I'm happy that we're doing it and everything. All right, so we're going to talk Raw. We got a couple of interesting headlines going on, including some Vince McMahon news. And no, it does not have anything to do with the little scandal there with Janelle Grant. It has nothing to do with that. But we do have some Vince McMahon news that we can get into. We also got the very latest in headlines. There's a couple of wrestling news little tidbits. I know we teased it last week or over the weekend, I was going to get into the list of TV shows that's been canceled or renewed. You know, some of your favorites have been canned, and it's like, oh, say it ain't so. What's going on? So you guys definitely picked a fun night to tune in and everything. I hope you guys been well. Shout out again to those that were actually able to go out and participate in the WrestleMania festivities. I know that there were some people that had to catch early flight Sunday night, and so they needed to try to get some type of sleep before they hit the road, because some people were getting up as early as 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning so that they could go catch their flight and everything, and then others had left immediately after the festivities was over WrestleMania weekend. But shout out to everybody that was out there for WrestleMania week. Hopefully, if you haven't already reached your final destination, you'll get there safely for sure. Yo, this Raw, I loved it. It was firing off on all cylinders, man. I mean, we pretty much got big help from the likes of John Cena, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. We also got NXT stars coming in there, helping out. We had Jade Cargill. This was a star-studded edition of Monday Night Raw. And of course, you can't kick it off properly than by having the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the new Universal Champion, I should say, in Cody Rhodes. I like Triple H coming out there and setting it up properly, giving him that nice introduction. The video package that was presented for Cody as well. Did you all think for a second there that they were about to present him with a new championship belt? Because if you guys remember, I know if you're following Cody Rhodes on social media, he teased it with a picture and had a few words, but there was an interview that he gave last year where he talked about, as far as his favorite championship titles go, design-wise, he wanted to try to bring back the Eagled Wing title. That just, for him, had so many great memories, and that was something he was very interested in seeing if he could bring back somehow. So when Triple H tells Cody that there's a surprise for him that was put together, I'm thinking, wait a minute, is it the belt? Is it the belt? Because we already know, and if you don't have social media and you're not aware of this, there's something that you really need to go out of your way and check out. And that's the fact that I believe it was, and you guys can correct me if I'm not remembering it accurately, but I believe Bruce Pritchard and Triple H, am I understanding right, that they presented Cody Rhodes over the weekend with a gold Rolex watch? And, you hear about this gold Rolex watch, right? And you just go, your father, he gave me this watch. Nice watch he gave me, and I shoved it up my ass. Okay, it's a very bad Christopher Walken impression. I know. I used to do it a lot better back in the day, but, no, there was a really cool sentimental story in regards to that gold Rolex watch. It turns out Triple H and Bruce Pritchard ended up buying back that gold Rolex watch that they gifted to Cody over the weekend. The story goes that when Dusty Rhodes, no bull, he hit some hard times in his post-wrestling career. He was doing what he could to make ends meet and everything. He sold the Rolex watch. This is when we had a very young Cody Rhodes, right? Not even in the WWE yet. He was still doing amateur wrestling and all of that, on a college level and everything. Somehow they ended up buying back that watch, and I guess they've been sitting on it all this time, and they presented it to him. I'm going, wow, that is so freaking cool. That's badass. If that is not a good feel story for you to get the nice jump start going to your week, I don't know. Hopefully you'll find something out there that'll get you good and everything. But that was nice. No, instead they presented Cody, in addition to that, new nameplates for the title. They showed this really nice, cool video package showing his progression from when he began his wrestling career until now. It was nice and everything. From there, Triple H pretty much gave Cody Rhodes the floor. Cody Rhodes just basking in the glory, which would soon be interrupted by the final boss, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the People's Champion. And you're going, oh man, we got ourselves some fireworks right here. Oh man, put the butter on the biscuits, because god damn, this is gonna be good. And it did not disappoint. And it especially helps when you have the first hour of Raw commercial free, uninterrupted. That is what's up. This was badass on so many levels. I love seeing the chemistry and these two men just bouncing off of one another. Because remember, one of the main things that we all asked ourselves collectively was, okay, Cody Rhodes, and I know I definitely was saying this to myself, Cody Rhodes has finished the story. But now a new chapter begins. And as I always like to say here on the show, the chase is better than the catch. So for me, going into this Raw, I'm going, so what exactly is next for Cody Rhodes now that he is champion? And The Rock pretty much letting it be crystal clear eventually what is coming down the pipeline for him, so to speak. I love these two in that segment bouncing off of one another. Fantastic. The Rock giving Cody Rhodes his flowers, letting him know, hey, you did the unthinkable. You went in there, night 2 of WrestleMania. You beat the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Hey, kudos to you. You did good, right? You finished your story, right? So Rock, oh my God, and that Philly crowd, the way they were just, ooh man, way they were just chewing into The Rock, cursing him out. F you, Rock, shut the F up. I loved it, man. It was great. Verbal hazing at its finest. Rocky sucks. I had to stop myself and go, what year is this again? Because I almost felt like I got rewinded back to the Attitude Era when The Rock was freaking doing his thing, tearing up the crowd and all that, and they was giving it right back to him. Loved it. Rock was bouncing off of this crowd extremely well. This was great. This was great. I paused a little bit there because I was thinking a little bit too far ahead. I don't want to get to that point just yet, though. But, man, the chorus of boos. You think that Dominic Mysterio was something, right? But that's nothing compared, at least from this Philly crowd. That was nothing compared to what the Philly crowd gave to The Rock tonight. Kudos to you guys in Philly. That was just freaking badass. You know, and we're wondering, okay, we're seeing Rock, he's healing it up, he's talking trash to the Philly crowd and all that, but then we see The Rock get serious for a moment, and I guess you could say it was a little bit of a peek into the actual man, Dwayne Johnson, as he says, hey, as we all know, Dusty Rhodes was The Rock's hero, right? And he's like, hey, I had nothing but mad respect for your father, Cody. And to the point, you know, your dad and, you know, Rock's dad, Soul Man, you know, Rocky Johnson, you know, they were good friends, right? They were cool back in the day and everything. And he says, without a doubt, as far as being proud, he knows for a fact somewhere in heaven, Dusty Rhodes is smiling, definitely proud of him and everything. And he puts it on his father and says, I'm not sure if my dad is proud of some of the things that I've done, especially recently, but don't care, right? So you go, okay, So we got that nice blend of the man behind the character, but now he's going back into the heel mode. I loved it. It's that little nice fine attention to detail that just, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people kind of missed that initially as they were just, The Rock, Cody, right? They're just excited for the moment and everything. But Rock giving Cody the props. Yeah, you finished the story. Ooh, that is one pretty belt. You think? You think that maybe you could let me hold it? I mean, it was just, I'm just waiting for the Val Venus music. Hello, ladies. I'm going, well, that does not sound, And then you got Cody saying, I'll let you hold it. I'll let you hold it if you let me hold yours. Yeah, it's like, whoa, 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 settle down there, boys. And the crowd right on cue. This is awkward. Yeah, I did not. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean, but no, you're in that moment and you're going, yeah, man, this, and I am just picturing the romantic music. I actually might play around with that footage and put something up on the YouTube channel. I know YouTube will probably put a copyright on it and, try to monetize it, but I think I might have some fun with that freaking particular segment and all that. So, Rock gets the opportunity to hold the WWE Universal Championship. Cody gets to hold the People's Championship. And it was funny because, you know what this came off like, too, in regards to what I just described? It also came off like, and I know for our younger audience, y'all been through this before. But remember when you were in elementary school or in junior high and your parents had took the time out to make you a really nice, yummy lunch? And, it's cafeteria time, right? It's lunchtime, you're at the cafeteria, or maybe you're on the playground or whatever, park bench, whatever, you're eating your lunch, and your friend is like, man, that looks really good. Like, yeah, man, what is that? Oh, it's, my bologna has a first name, it's OSCAR, right? Whatever, right? Loaded up with the lettuce, the cheese, tomatoes, whatever, right? And your friend, I don't know, maybe they got a slice of pizza, and it just kind of came off like, hey, if you give me a piece of that, I give you a piece of this. Right? It came off exactly like that. The difference, though, rather than bite into that food, right? You get the analogy. So flip it back to what happened there with the belt exchange between these guys. Cody's not so much interested in The Rock's championship. To the point he just kind of looks at it for like 2 seconds, but he's just staring a hole at The Rock. Like, dude, what are you doing with my championship? Like, seriously, what are you doing with my championship? And The Rock he is in that zone to the point he says, this has a great feel to it. So already you're looking at that and you're going, all right, so we're teasing an eventual match between these two guys. Okay, this is what's up. Okay, I'm heavily invested. I'm down with this. Let's go. Rock eventually hands the championship back to him. Being a man of his word, he's not coming out. Ain't no surprise attacks. Ain't no fireworks. None of that other jazz going on. And The Rock reveals that he has to go away for a while. Now, this causes initially boos, but then it quickly turns to cheers, and then there's a serenade of basically, bon voyage, Rock. Don't let the door hit you on the ass. And for those of you that are not aware, there is 4 film projects that The Rock is involved in right now that have all, last I saw, as of a couple of hours ago, they all are in production. Okay? They're all in production. There's a total of 13 projects that he's going to be involved in, but a lot of those you still have in development, you have pre-production, but there's 4 films that's in development right now. So I know somebody had mentioned yesterday, because I had made a brief cameo appearance over on Wrestling Soup. Sorry about the audio feed. I guess it was a Discord issue, but I had chimed in on my thoughts for night 1 and 2 briefly. I'm not sure if it made the final cut because I was on for several minutes, but the last gist, sadly, I got interrupted. But the whole Rock situation there, why was I bringing that up? Because there was a very legit point I'm getting old, folks. You got to bear with me. It happens. Sometimes I could just mid-sentence and, it just, unfortunately, it happens. That's why. The whole film project. I remember somebody in the Discord had initially said that there was one movie project that Rock was filming. But it looks like in actuality, there are 4 films that's in production as we speak. So I would imagine that this is going to take up some of his time for the next couple of months. I hate to speculate, but depending on how everything goes. See, here's the thing. Some of these projects would probably have been already in the books, halfway done or completely done if it wasn't for what had went down with the writers and actors strike from last year. You guys remember that. I mean, it lasted 4 months, 3 if not 4 months. So that had sidelined a whole lot of Hollywood projects. So if I were to estimate as far as when we might see The Rock resurface again, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't go down until, I would say, a resurfacing maybe July, August, or September is maybe when The Rock at the earliest / latest is going to resurface. FYI. And I had put that out in a tweet letting everybody know, hey, look, this is what's up as far as the projects go. And Lord knows the man's got many other different hats that's going on. I know my father-in-law was telling me he was watching a USFL or UFL? You know the joint I'm talking about, the football there, the alternate football. He was watching that over the weekend, and as many of you guys know, Rock is involved in that. So, he's got many different hats right now, and it's just, we get it. But I tell you what, it's been so, let's give The Rock his flowers, right? It has been awesome these past several weeks to see him get back into the groove of things and remind us why he truly was the great one when he was wrestling full time for the WWE. A man of just pure freaking entertainment, always made his segments rock. Never, no pun intended, never a disappointment whatsoever. But Rock letting Cody Rhodes know basically that when he does return, whether Cody Rhodes is the champion or not, he's coming for him. So you're going, okay, so eventually we're going to get a match. Okay, and Rock lets it be crystal clear known, hey, you beat me, what was it, right? So he's doing it that way, like you beat the tribal chief, right? Congratulations on that, but let's not forget, The Rock beat you night 1 of WrestleMania, right? So Rock telling them straight up, we're just beginning, right? You may have finished the story, but you and me, we're just beginning, right? You're like, oh, Cody and The Rock, like, oh, that is what's up. And I love seeing Cody break that smile. It kind of felt like a legit smile to me, like, okay, this kind of threw Cody off guard. And to know that eventually, I wouldn't be surprised if it did legit throw him off guard. That's great. Because that emotion, that instant emotion that he had reacting to The Rock's coming for him is like, yeah, that's badass. That is badass. But yeah, I really have appreciated this work that's been coming from The Rock. It essentially, it reminds me so much of the Attitude Era from this standpoint. There was that time in the Attitude Era where you just think about the roster of awesome talent that was on there. And pretty much it was like, go see if you can top this. Right? Okay, I just went out there. I just hit it out of the park. Go top that. And I'm not even talking about the wrestling. I'm just talking about being charismatic, working the crowds, okay? Cutting them promos. That's all I'm talking about. And it was always a case back in the Attitude Era where, oh, man, I got to try to match that level of enthusiasm. I got to try to match that energy. Good God almighty, how am I going to... Right? But they always seem to compliment each other back in the day. And since The Rock has been back and just everything that's been happening creatively in the WWE, especially as far as being a little bit more looser there for the talents, as we've continued to hear about from the talents themselves in interviews and everything has just been going up, right? Everything has just been better, right? Rock is like that tent pole and everybody else is like, okay, see what you're doing, okay, and building off of that. And it's been awesome experience overall as far as that domino effect goes. Freaking love it. Freaking love it. Now, before The Rock got ready to roll out, something interesting had happened here where The Rock tells Cody, hey, before I roll out, I got something for you. And Rock digs into his pocket and we don't see what it is that he gives to Cody. But Cody reluctantly extending his hand, slowly, I might add. I get the trepidations. I do. I would be the same way, right? Like, you don't know if this man's about to give you a small bag of poop or what. You don't know what's going on, right? About to give you some Viagra, Blue Chew. What's he about to give you? By the way, have you guys seen the new, what's it called? Glad Friday, Get Friday? There's this new company that's running around. It's an infomercial where you can basically buy Viagra for cheap. Like, that's the main thing that they keep plugging. They say you can get prescription drugs for cheap, but they keep focusing oddly on Viagra, right? But Ric Flair is now doing the damn commercials. It's the most hilarious thing that you'll freaking see. But anyway, he goes into his pocket, does The Rock in his own pocket. We don't see what it is that he pulls out. And he just, once he sees Cody's hand is out there, he grabs it and Rock tells him straight up, you already know what this is. And it's like, right? Rock tells him, you already know what this is. You don't even need to look down to see what it is. Okay, so he already knows what this is. And The Rock follows it up with, and I quote, don't you ever break my heart again if you smell what the final boss is cooking. And Cody has this pissed off look on his face. So the $1 million question that everybody was asking on social media, including myself, what the hell was it that The Rock gave him? Most importantly, what could have Cody Rhodes, go back for those of you that watch Monday Night Raw, or for those of you that's going to get ready to watch it on your DVR, what made Cody have the facial expressions of frustration, anger, being perturbed? What set him off the way he did with those facial tremors from whatever The Rock put in his hand? I'll give you a hint. I just talked about it several minutes ago when I was talking about the opening of Raw. I already laid it out. For those of you that need help connecting the dots, I know I'm speculating here, but if I were to guess, I believe that The Rock somehow got a hold of that gold Rolex watch that I was just talking about several minutes ago, and he destroyed the hell out of it. I believe that. Now, sadly, I was not paying attention to Cody's wrist. So I don't know if that gold Rolex might have been on him during the whole time. And that just negates, no, that's not what was put in Cody's hand. But as far as what makes the most sense, what would maybe kind of set Cody off a little bit and all that, that's the only thing I can think of. Now, I haven't seen anybody else. Some people may say, nah, Lee, I don't think that's it. Well, then you make, to me and everybody else in the community, your best pitch of what was put in Cody's hand, because nobody else seemed to come up with any. Like, I was looking, not extensively, but I looked for about, I would say 30 seconds, just trying to see if anybody had a good guess. Nobody was guessing. It was just what was put in the hand. That's the best guess that I can think of. But either way, to know that down the pipeline, we're going to see Cody and The Rock. Oh, color me excited. That's what, that is what's, goosebumps just thinking about it. I love that. I love that. That is what's up. Bring it. Bring it. The good news keeps on coming from there. The hits, that is, right? If that wasn't an awesome segment, right? The matches that we had tonight, definitely on point, because we got to see some NXT stars who are going to be playing a role in the upcoming WWE draft. And we got news about that. Everything is going to be kicking off on Friday SmackDown, April 26th. And then it's going to conclude on Monday Night Raw. 2-night event, WWE draft. That's what's up. Now, those of you that had checked out the WWE WrestleMania 40 press conference from last night, you guys know that Triple H alluded to that the draft was happening soon. I didn't think the draft was going to happen this soon. I was honestly under the impression the draft wasn't going to be going down until maybe after Backlash, since Backlash is in about 3.5 weeks. I was just, okay, maybe we'll do it then. But no, that is when the draft is going down. I'm looking forward to that. That should be very, very solid. I always get excited when it comes to the draft. Who's the guy that's down there in NXT right now that is the current NXT North American champion? The African brother. I love that dude. Put him on the main roster. I said this a couple of months back. Put him on the main roster, and as much as I would like to see him be a solo act, I would so love to see him be incorporated with Omos and MVP. Man, talk about your towers of power that would just be dominating the tag division on the main roster. Yo, let's make it happen. That would be popping on all cylinders. Speaking of popping, nice solid matchup between Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Dragunov. Dragunov, I believe this was his Raw debut. We saw a couple of Raw debuts tonight, and I tell you what, crowd seemed to react very well to Dragunov. This was the right opponent to, if Dragunov is going to be involved in the draft, what better opponent to have to showcase his ability than one Shinsuke Nakamura? Good stuff. Dragunov picking up the victory. Look, I'll admit the match was extremely short because we're talking about, I would say, man, you'd be lucky if that was over 3 minutes, maybe slightly over 4 minutes. But a good showing, good effort there by Dragunov. Way to build him up, get him ready for being in the draft in a couple of weeks, because they announced that he will in fact be part of the draft. So who knows what show he's going to be on there. Some other matches that had went down, we'll talk about it in a hot second. Actually, I was getting ready to talk about Judgment Day there. How about that? We were here less than 24 hours ago, and I guess we can go ahead and talk about it. It's all good because it is a segue to a match that involved Judgment Day. But we were just here less than 24 hours ago. By the way, shout out to those of you that had checked out the WrestleMania Night 2 post show. That was a lot of fun to do. I'm still going back, checking out the numbers, but everything's pretty good so far. As far as what I'm seeing with the web stream, as far as what I'm seeing with the audio version, it's just continuing to grow and grow and grow. So I love everybody that had represented and checked it out and everything. But I said less than 24 hours ago, hey, going into the Raw After Mania, I would not be surprised if one of the rematches that we saw was Judgment Day taking on Awesome Truth, trying to win back those tag titles. And remember, I even jumped out there and said, I don't know if this would happen, but if they maybe want to play around there and have Judgment Day try to get back in the good graces of R-Truth, let him believe that he's still part of Judgment Day, even though he never was, right? He never was. Only in his dreams is he part of Judgment Day. But I said it's not really needed. Either way, I don't see Awesome Truth losing the tag titles. And I went on record saying I'd be shocked if they lost those tag titles, right? So it was badass seeing Judgment Day out there. Seemed like everybody is kumbayaing with one another and everything. Rhea is extremely happy for her boy, Damian Priest, now that he is the new World Heavyweight Champion. Damian Priest coming out to some new music, by the way. Some new solo music just for him. I love it. It's badass. Miz comes out, and he's pretty much out there to tell the truth that, he doesn't want to be in the Judgment Day, and he knows Truth doesn't want to be either. And, Priest is like, what the hell? So this pretty much sets up your instant Acme feud and everything, which ultimately sets up Awesome Truth versus JD McDonough, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. So you're going, oh, wait, it's a 2-on-3, right? Because the challenge was put out there. And when it was put out there, Judgment Day is going, but you guys, you don't have a third tag partner. And they're like, oh, you don't see him? Like, he's right there. And so what a nice way to throw people off, because you're going, oh, snap. R-Truth is bringing back Lil Jimmy. Okay, cool. No, we really couldn't see him, though, because I would say about midway during this match, we see John Cena come out. That was nice. That was a nice touch. I love how that was played out and everything. John Cena coming in there. Late as I don't know what, but it's all good. Picking up the win there. Awesome Truth, John Cena. Fun. It was fun. Look, the match itself, quirky and, for the little bit of time that it was on, it was good. And I'm aware of the recent interview that John Cena gave, where he pretty much had said, look, I know I said that as far as 50 years of age, that's pretty much it. Like, the clock is winding down on my respected in-ring wrestling career. But now The Rock is kind of going, you know what? I think I need to expedite that. I think that I need to get to a point where I wrap up my current film projects, commitments and everything, and then focus on WWE so I can have one last hurrah. And then, right? So if he is, understand something, because I don't think many people are really going to dive into John Cena like this. If John Cena is saying, yo, I don't want to wait until 50. I want to just go on ahead and, let's do this now. I can understand where he's coming from this standpoint, right? He might be looking at what had went down with Kurt Angle. And as we all saw, Kurt Angle, the in-ring skills, it diminished so quickly that when he did go back to WWE, there was a very, very short window where they could have done something very memorable with Kurt Angle, especially if you wanted to give him a proper send-off. But the more and more that they kept holding it off, Father Time, undefeated, as we all know. Now, big difference between Kurt Angle and John Cena, obviously, is, well, knock on wood, John Cena did not have any of the physical injuries and, broke this, broke that, broke this, and broke that number of injuries that Kurt Angle had, right? So lucky for John Cena, never in that position. But that doesn't mean that the in-ring ability can diminish. Now, based on what I've been seeing so far from John Cena, right? John Cena's never been a speed guy, right? You know, he's pretty much always been a clothesline, punch, off the ropes, clothesline, 5-knuckle shuffle, arm drag, drop kick here and there, leg drop from the top rope, attitude adjustment, STFU. Am I missing anything? So, I mean, when you're wrestling that type of style, to my point, yeah, you can last a good minute, right? You can last a good minute. So maybe John Cena is kind of looking at this as far as his priorities go. And maybe he's honestly saying, okay, you know what, man? I got a very short window to do this and do this on a level that fans have come to know, respect, and appreciate. And then the other thing that comes to mind is, look, while I still have the passion and the desire to want to do this and really give back to the fans that have supported me all of these years, why wait a couple of years? Let's do this as soon as humanly possible. And I would imagine he's seeing everything that's been going on with Triple H and the new regime. And I would just imagine that he is just nodding his head and he is saying in the cut, yo, dude, I wants that. I got to get a piece of that. That looks like fun. You don't think Dave Bautista might be kicking back and going, yo, I don't know, man. I might have to hit up my buddy Paul. I had to see if I can get a little bit of a taste, man, because damn, they having fun. And when you're having fun, oh man, that makes time fly by so quick, don't it? So kind of have that in the back of your mind in regards to John Cena and everything. I was prepared to talk about John Cena much later in the show, but we got this nice flow that's going on right now, and everything is just beautifully connecting where it needs to connect, right? It's all in the brain right now, how everything is connecting. Appreciate you guys that's been staying up so far. Lee Sanders here of the RCWR show. We're talking Raw Fallout. Also going to be talking some headlines, including some wrestling headlines, some non-wrestling headlines in a hot little bit. Appreciate those of you that's checking out the show so far, checking out the streams. Can I give a shout out to our people over on X, formerly known as Twitter? By the way, make sure you cast your vote. Let your voice be heard on what you thought about the RAW After Mania edition of WWE RAW. X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR show. Vote on the poll that way, or hop on youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab and cast your vote that way, my pretty babies. So let's keep rocking and rolling. I'm actually looking at Twitter right now, and I'm seeing some of the results that's coming in, and very interesting. By the way, Liv Morgan just coming from out of nowhere, beating the holy crap out of Rhea Ripley. Boy, did I enjoy that. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Let me not say that too loud, though, because I've got a couple of Liv Morgan fan pages following the show accounts, and it's like, wait a minute, I've never once said anything, negative or positive about Liv Morgan. Like, maybe it's just the WWE reference. Maybe that's why they're following. Like, I don't know. But I enjoyed seeing that little badger come from out of nowhere and was beating the crap out of Rhea Ripley backstage. That was badass. Because remember what I was talking about over the weekend. Shout out to everybody that's participated in the chat too and everything. Remember what I said over the weekend, which was, look, that's great that they had Rhea Ripley pick up the victory, okay? But we got to do something with the Raw side of the women's division for Rhea Ripley there, because it just seems like she has gone through every single body on that roster. Like, we got to do a better job in building up folks and everything. Remember, I had said that, right? Less than 24 hours ago. And now that we know this draft is coming up, I tell you what, that draft is going to be very, very interesting, because remember, any and everybody is at play for the draft. So Judgment Day could be no more. We could very well see Dominic Mysterio get drafted maybe to SmackDown. And, everybody else from Judgment Day is kind of still intact. Or we could see Rhea Ripley and maybe Dominic go over to SmackDown. And, right, there's a whole lot of interesting combinations that could go down as a result, right? Hell, the champions are at play as well, as we know, right? Safe to say the champions are gonna, with the first pick, right? They ain't going nowhere, right? But unless they switch it up this time and they say the champions are exempt. Man, if they say something along those lines, cool. By the way, how about that cool shot? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go on social media. I actually commented on it on X. After Liv Morgan beat the holy crap out of Rhea, and we had security detail step in, break it all up. And the camera just, I guess it was a drone camera, right? But Dominic, he just swipes the camera or / the drone as it just leaves that area, and it's going right into these corridors and out into the arena. And it's going over to the announcer's table, and it almost does a 360. I loved it. It was some of the best footage. It was like about maybe 20 seconds long. You guys got to go out of your way and check it out. I got to tell you, and I gave this a lot of praise, and I cannot give enough praise enough. But what has been happening with the production for these WWE shows and events, it has been on a whole new level. I mean, post Kevin Dunn, look, all due respect, I love Kevin Dunn within reason. But Kevin Dunn and his cutting, okay, next scene, right? Cut to the next scene, cut to the next scene, cut to the next scene, cut to the next scene. Anybody that has seen the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, when you just look at how that was edited, it is just atrocious, and somehow it won an award for its editing. You're going, wait, what? Like, how does that make, right? Kevin Dunn's editing make you freaking nauseous, and I love that in this new era post Kevin Dunn, they've reeled it back, slowed it down big time, but most importantly, they have been playing with new technology, specifically the drones. They've been playing with. I love it. I freaking love it more. Please go out of your way. Check out that footage that I was talking about. It's really badass. The best 20 seconds that you'll see. I know they've been playing around with it more and more. Keep it coming is my whole message. I love it. Keep it coming. All right, some other stuff that had went down on tonight's WWE RAW. Indy Hartwell taking on the new two-time NXT Women's Champion and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne Perez picking up a win. Let me tell you something here. This was a decent showing if you are a fan of Roxanne Perez. However, what hurt this match was the fact that, okay, we got another Raw debut for an NXT superstar, yet this match extremely short. You're lucky if this was a 2-minute match. What this really came down for me, although, okay, Roxanne Perez, that's nice. And not for nothing, but we saw a little bit of cross-promotion, something that NBC, the Peacock, is notorious for. Shout out if you watch your Law and Orders, you know exactly what I mean. We saw afterwards Roxanne bump into Natty, and it looks like Natty maybe wants a title shot or something along the lines, and Roxanne pretty much told her, yo, show up on NXT tomorrow night. That's my show, right? I'm actually going to tune in. I love Natty. I still have a soft spot for Natty. They've scaled back on her a bit So, I know there's been times where we're like, can we just see her go away for just a little bit? And I'm at that point now where I'm actually growing quite fond of. I miss Natty. I miss seeing her in the ring and all that. But yeah, this match way too short. So on the one hand, okay, you're showing off Perez, but man, 2 minutes, that's just a bite-sized sample, man. Your main meat and potatoes for this one is, we got the continuation of Candice LeRae ripping into Indy Hartwell. You can't do anything right. Right? I don't really care about that angle, but you know what? To each its own. What else had happened? Sami Zayn teaming up with Chad Gable, taking on Imperium. No Gunther. Gunther, nowhere to be found. Gunther's on hiatus, licking those wounds right now. Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, picking up the win. And as we had talked about on the WrestleMania post-show, we ended up getting that Rocky 3, the end of Rocky 3 moment between Chad Gable and Sami Zayn, right? As far as that favor goes, right? When this is all said and done, Apollo, you got to do... No, like, Apollo, yeah, hey, you got to do a favor for me, Rock, when this is all said and done. Favor? What kind of favor you got in mind? Worry about that later, right? Sami Zayn giving Chad Gable a shot at the Intercontinental Championship next Monday on Raw in Montreal. Should be pretty badass. I'm actually looking forward to that match. That should be pretty damn good. Chelsea Green in a squash match against Jade Cargill. Hey, cool. She's part of the draft, right? She's at play. Okay, cool. Let's see how she is on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, and Jade Cargill's got a nice vibe to it, I gotta say. And that crowd was definitely loving them some Jade Cargill. You know that Tony Braxton song, I love me some him? I'm going to change that. I'm going to be like, Jade Cargill, every time I see Jade Cargill, man, I love me some Jade, okay? I'm in love with, how would you do that anyway? Rick James, I'm in love with Mary Jane. How would you do that one? Would you maybe say, I'm in love with, I got it. I'm in love with Chocolate Jade. There you go. I'll let you guys figure out the rest of the lyrics on that one. All right. So from there, Drew McIntyre, the pissed off Scottishman, not feeling what had went down at WrestleMania Sunday. I love how he did a little bit of a nod to what was trending about Damian Priest, except he chose a better choice of words. I mean, I'm still reeling over that. I know I had Kev and Mish from Soup a little bit perplexed when I told them, hey, did you guys see bisexual Undertaker was trending? And what did Drew call Damian Priest there? He was still giving a nod to what was trending, but I think he called him Bondage Undertaker. And it's like, yeah, you're in the right ballpark, buddy. You got the B right? You got the B. But yeah, I love seeing Drew McIntyre come out there extremely pissed. Okay, he had the championship for 5 minutes, right? That's how long his reign lasted. He was pissed at Damian Priest, pissed at the whole concept of Money in the Bank. It's like, okay, we get it, dude. When it's not working in your favor, okay, we get it. It's a travesty. It's lawful. It's wrong. I tell you, like, okay, we get it. But Drew brings up a good, he makes a good argument, saying, look, the Money in the Bank briefcase, it's a freaking joke. And I did not realize this until he mentioned it in his promo. But this is the second time he's gotten screwed by that. The second time. That's hilarious, I gotta say. That is hilarious. You just feel for Drew McIntyre when you hear that. You're like, come on, man. That's so freaking wrong. That's so freaking wrong. Anyway, loved it. Good stuff. Good stuff right there. Then focusing his attention on CM Punk. Oh, he is far not done from CM Punk there. Matter of fact, let me pull up the words that he had to say in regards to CM Punk. Yeah, he called him a prick. Said he told Punk what he was going to do as far as winning the championship. And yeah, he was a man of his word and everything, and he made sure to rub it in CM Punk's face. It was no accident that he was that close as he looked in CM Punk's eyes and said what he said. Punk didn't do anything. But then the second Punk took his eyes off, as far as McIntyre was concerned, Punk pretty much pulled a move, right? And pretty much got him from behind, per se, right? So he's got a receipt for CM Punk. Remember that. Main event match, fatal four-way between Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, and Ricochet. Number one contenders match for a future shot at the newly crowned Universal Heavyweight Champion and Cody Rhodes. Or is it Damian Priest? Hold up. Wait a minute. Yeah, they never did. Let me cross-reference real quick, or I'll put the chat out there. I'll put the question out there to the chat. Yes, I've been reading what you guys have been saying this whole time, by the way. What is this about honey buns? What is that about honey buns? You gotta enlighten me about honey buns, because, man, when I used to go to school, high school specifically, me and my friends, we used to eat a particular set of honey buns from a company. It was like these big jumbo honey buns. And man, everybody knows, put the honey bun in the microwave for about 15, 20 seconds, right? But there are some really bad honey buns where you do it, you put it in the microwave, it tastes bad. It just tastes really, really bad. Like, you can't put an Entenmann's honey bun in the microwave and, right, no, right? But I remember me and my friends, we used to, for breakfast, if we weren't having that for breakfast, given to us by, at the cafeteria, we would sometimes get the sausage pancake coated on the stick and with the syrup and all that. Good times, I tell you, good times. Anyway, let me poke my head in the chat in a little bit, because I'm trying to remember, for which championship was this for? I know it was for the World Heavyweight Championship. Was this to face Cody, or was this to face Damian Priest? I kind of feel like this might have been for Damian Priest's championship. So I'll poke my head in a little bit, buy you guys some time. Fun main event match. Ricochet. God damn, this dude had some serious, crazy offense. I love the spot that happened with him. What was he doing? Like a flipping moonsault or whatever. 360 spin, splash, over the rope, crashing into Bronson Reed, through a table. That was a sick-ass spot. I loved it, man. And I can't remember who had asked the question from last week's show. Well, somebody brought up the question of, hey, should Ricochet be considered for Money in the Bank? Or actually, no, I think the proper words that they used was based off of this match. And I can't remember what was the match Ricochet had last week. You guys got to forgive me. I'm getting old. But the commenter had asked, hey, based on this match, should Ricochet get the Money in the Bank briefcase? And shout out if you were here last week. I remember saying, nah, you don't want to just for one match. You want to look at the totality of stuff that's gone down for this individual in the past couple of months. And then, okay, if you're going to map out your Money in the Bank men's shot, right? The match for the men's Money in the Bank. If you're going to map that out as far as your participants go, then yeah, okay, based on the body of work for X amount of months, yeah, you can make an argument Ricochet needs to be in there, right? Ricochet is just continuing. He is taking it to a whole new level, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I appreciate the fact that I'm at a point right now, since I've been watching Ricochet in WWE,
I'm at a point right now where I'm so glad that he is still part of the company because he's got a great look, okay? He's got a great look to him, and he has made great strides in upping his game, even on the microphone a bit. Like, not for nothing, but, man, the stuff that he did with Logan Paul, I think if it wasn't for his work with Logan Paul, I don't think we'd be having the type of discussions that we've been having about Ricochet as of late. I don't think he would even be in rotation. I don't think we'd be at this point where we're going, Ricochet's been really putting in the work. Shout out to that dude. You feel where I'm coming from? So good stuff. Good stuff right there from Ricochet in there. From all the participants in this one. This was actually pretty good. I love that in the final moments here because we're getting tight. It's getting tight. You know what I mean by getting tight? Time-wise, like, hey, we got to send this home already. We're getting down to the final moments here. Jey Uso is in the ring. Drew McIntyre too. Crowd eating this up. Good stuff right here, right? Big yeeting going on. Not eating, yeet, okay? Drew hits the future shock. Does a nice kip up. He's getting ready to do the Claymore. He's doing the 3. He's doing the 2. He's doing the 1. You're going, all right, it's going to be Drew. Okay, cool. And now that I'm really thinking about it, it is Drew McIntyre. It is as far as the championship for whoever wins this match. It is for Damian Priest's championship. Yes. So McIntyre getting ready to go for that Claymore kick. No, yeet! Denied as a little troll, a little gremlin from out of nowhere sweeped his leg. I say that with all respect because I was laughing my ass off when I saw this. CM Punk strikes again, screwing the hell out of Drew McIntyre as Jey Uso hits a super kick. Then goes for the Uso splash. 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso wins. CM Punk is looking on in euphoria as he is just throwing his hands up in the air to the Jey Uso song. I love this. This was hilarious. This was good stuff. I'm happy to see that it's going to be Jey Uso and Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship at Backlash. That's going to be a fun-ass match. That's going to be a fun, kick-ass match. I'm looking forward to that. Like, just seeing those two names on paper, that's going to be a badass match. Meanwhile, we are continuing to see CM Punk be intertwined with Drew McIntyre while CM Punk is injured. I love the brilliant ways that they're coming up with trying to utilize CM Punk here, right? It's badass. You know what that scene reminded me of, too, of CM Punk denying Drew McIntyre? I mentioned it once before, but it just really does. Maybe because I've been playing the hell out of it a lot, and it's just so funny when he pops up. But it reminds me of WWE Supercard. As I talked about a couple of nights ago, they've got this cool game mode right now. I believe it's called, oh, God. Actually, you know what? I can pull it up right now. Because there's 3 modes that's available for like the next 12, 13 days right now. One of them is called Block Party, and that's not the one that I'm talking about. I think the one I'm talking about is Invite Only. Yes, Invite Only. And when you play this mode, it's almost like you're at a casino slot machine, okay? And wherever it lands, if you're lucky, you win that. But if you hit not 1, not 2, but 3 Dominic Mysterio faces, it's game over, right? So it reminds me, seeing what CM Punk did there, it reminded me of that. But then it also reminded me of the scavenger hunt mode that's in the game right now, because there's a little scavenger hunt game where if you collect 16 pieces successfully, you get to unlock a really cool limited edition Bianca Belair card. And sometimes it's all RNG based. Sometimes you'll get this graphic that'll pop up and you'll see Dominic Mysterio. He's holding up. It's all animated, by the way. It's an animated Dominic Mysterio. But you see an animated Dominic Mysterio holding the puzzle piece, and you're going, hey, all right, I got another one. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, it transitions into Dominic Mysterio running off with your puzzle piece. I'm just seeing him. He's reminding me so much of that crap from the game, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm playing the game a little bit too much, man. But you're seeing what's going on there between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. And, you know, you're looking at this, and I know we continue to have people going, oh, you know, Drew McIntyre, he's getting ready to go to AEW, or, you know, and it's like, based on what? Based on what? Like, you're assuming. Don't assume. Like, just kick back and enjoy the ride. You don't know what the hell is going on here, right? You don't know if a new deal has already been inked out. You don't know if McIntyre has agreed to maybe an extension. You don't know what the hell is going on. So, like, just kick back and enjoy the ride for what it's worth and everything, right? But I'm enjoying what these two have been doing these past several weeks, man. It's been some of the best stuff. One of the favorite highlights for Monday Night Raw. This episode overall definitely felt like a Raw after Mania, without a doubt. Nice surprises, fun, big energy. You still had that hangover buzz from Mania, more specifically Mania Night 2. You know, the wrestling, you know, a bit so-so here and there, but they honestly made up for it. The highlight of the night, though, Cody and The Rock, awesome segment, hands down, awesome segment. Love that stuff. And that all took up pretty much the first hour when you really stop and think about it, give or take. So good stuff, good stuff. Let's see what you guys had to say. I'm going to go to X. Look at the poll here. Don't worry, I didn't forget you guys' comments, by the way. I see those of you that had left comments. I put my man on the spot. I was like, okay, Honey Buns, what we talking about here? What we talking about? You know, Honey Buns in regards to John Cena or The Rock and Cody Rhodes there. Honey Buns, right? We going in that direction? Yeah, it's all good. All right, X. See what we got going on. X gonna give it to you. 14% felt that it was a terrible show. 20% average show. 23% fantastic show. And 41% good show. Appreciate you guys that have voted via X. Now let's see what you guys had to say via... Oh, what's going on here? We picked up a new follower. Are you like me? I look at every single person that ends up following me on X to try to see what's going on, how it makes sense. And yeah, no, this looks like a porn account. Not interested in that. That looks like a porn account. So let's go ahead and block them. I hate these spam accounts, man. It's ridiculous what's going on. It's gotten worse and worse on X ever since the takeover. Community section over on YouTube, the RCWR show. Right now, 43% of you felt that Raw After Mania, good show, while 57% of you said, yo, it was a fantastic show. Keep the voting coming in. Appreciate you guys. All right, see what's going on here. Looking in the YouTube chat here. Andrew can't believe that Cody had put over Roman Reigns. Well, why wouldn't he? That is what a babyface always does when you really stop and think about it. And when you think about this personal hatred level, if you will, that The Rock has there for Cody. I mean, Rock has made this really, really personal, right? Some could make an argument, yeah, but wasn't it personal for Cody and Roman? Not so much, right? For Cody, this was about just finishing the story. He came up short once before and wanted to work his way back to the top of the mountain again to get another shot, feeling, yo, second time around, I ain't going to miss. I'm going to call my shot, and I'm going to get it done right that second go round. You feel me? So No, like the history has shown, no matter what despicable, right, when you have a champion that has held on to a World Heavyweight Championship, go across the analytics of time for whatever respective promotion, and that heel that held that championship for that extended period of time, when they finally do lose it, the babyface wins. One of the first things that goes down is that promo where the babyface says, hey, hey, I got to give it up to blah, 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 insert name. They gave me one hell of a fight, right? Blah, 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 blah. Did you see on IG before Raw started, they did a little Uncle Howdy segment? No, I did not see that. I will have to check that out. As a matter of fact, let me see. I'll actually pull it up right now. I don't want to get a copyright by YouTube. That's the only thing. I don't want to get a copyright by YouTube, but let me see if I can look at this on X, see what you guys are talking about. You didn't need to go to IG, Instagram, the gram. You didn't need to go to IG to see that. I know what you're talking about. For those of you that maybe had missed it, at one point during Monday Night Raw, right before the main event match, Bronson Reed was talking, and there was a weird, seemed like a technical difficulty, quick little white glitch that had appeared on the screen. It was half a millisecond, but it was enough for you to notice. And if you actually took the time out to, wait a minute, let's really look at this, it appeared as though there was some type of a Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy nod there. And then anybody that saw the Bray Wyatt documentary, y'all know that, okay, something's going on here. Looks like Bo Dallas is getting ready to resurface, which is badass. To the point, if you looked at some of the people that were in attendance for tonight's Raw, they actually took camera video shots of the Jumbotron high above, and they got the whole white screen graphic as well, as a lot of people are going, this has to do with Uncle Howdy, right? Go out of your way. If you missed it, it's okay. Go out of your way. Check it out. It's actually kind of badass what they're starting up here. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what goes down. I can't wait to see how Bo Dallas pulls this off. I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm definitely intrigued. It's so funny because I remember back in the day, I was a hardcore Bo Dallas fan. I loved what that dude was doing because it was a nice throwback to overly animated characters of yesteryear, specifically the 80s and early 90s. He had that whole Richard Simmons vibe, to him, right? Y'all remember the fitness guru, Richard Simmons? Like, that guy was just all over the place back in the day, but he had that and Tony Robbins. Is it Tony Robbins or Tony Robinson? You guys know who I'm talking about, motivational speaker. He had both of those things going on with him, did Bo Dallas, and I loved it. I ate all of it up. And then to see him eventually, get away from that. Don't get me wrong. I didn't mind him being tag team partners with Curtis Axel. They messed up with that, by the way. Curtis Axel, come on, his father was Mr. Perfect. The best gimmick you could have given him was, okay, if your father was Mr. Perfect, then you are Mr. Imperfect. Everything you do, you always mess it up. Everything you touch has a negative effect. Like, nothing ever goes your way. And I think that would have been one of the greatest running gags of all time. You could have had it be right up there with Brooklyn Brawler. Oh, every time you see Brooklyn Brawler always loses, right? You could have had it be one of those type of deals. Alex, just my opinion, TKO under Rock and Triple H leadership is in good hands. Indeed. Who cares about Rock? What's happening with Roman? Well, a lot of people are still very invested in Rock. And as far as Roman Reigns, we're going to have to continue to watch and see what's going down. I mean, you notice tonight, as far as a plug for SmackDown, you notice there was no mention of it. You notice there was no, what happens with Roman Reigns now. Roman Reigns addresses his future on the next SmackDown. Honestly, guys, as far as what's next for Roman Reigns, as far as I am concerned, right? Roman Reigns did everything that he needed to do these past 3 years. He put that company on his shoulders and then some. He bust his ass. And before anybody says, oh, yeah, the schedule that he was working, he earned that schedule. He earned that schedule. As far as I'm concerned, and I would encourage anybody to go out of their way, if you haven't seen it yet, look at the video right after Roman had lost the championship and he's walking up the ramp. You see this really cool sentimental moment where Paul Heyman embraces him and the two are just hugging. You could tell Roman is crying as Paul Heyman just continues to, they're embracing each other. It was a very touching moment. For me, as far as I'm concerned, Roman Reigns, he deserves his props without a shadow of doubt. But if at this point, Roman's like, okay, 3 years, that's it. This has been taken off my shoulders. I'm going to go chill. I'm going to go enjoy being a dad and a husband for a bit. And maybe I'll think about my future at a much later date. He can rest. He can rest for a little bit. If you were to tell me Roman Reigns would not resurface for the next 6 months, I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. He could take a whole year off for all I care. That's the best part that I think many people don't realize right now is that WWE is in such an awesome place where it's almost back to the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era where, okay, unfortunately, this person got injured, or unfortunately, this person is going to have to step away for personal reasons. Next man, next woman up. And, okay, take the ball. Let's go. Right? And WWE is back at that point again where, okay, he's Roman Reigns. He is going to go sit on the sideline for a little bit. He's going to go rest. Okay, cool. We got, right, next person up. Right? So, Roman, what more do you guys want? I mean, seriously, what more do you guys want? You want to see this guy back on your TV? You're ready to see him have another match? Or is it just a case where legit you're going storyline-wise, what's next for Roman? We don't need to have that be addressed on this coming Friday SmackDown or the following SmackDown or during the draft. We don't need any of that. That in itself is a story. What's going on with Roman Reigns? That sells itself. If I'm WWE, I'm going, Roman Reigns has not returned Nigel McGuinness, the general manager of SmackDown. He has not returned any of his phone calls, emails, text messages. Roman Reigns has been MIA since losing the championship to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. That is exactly how you can sell it. And then some of you may say, well, what about the draft? What about the draft? As far as the draft goes, that could be a damn good talking point for a lot of people. What if the draft ended in such a way between both shows where Roman Reigns is not drafted, and he's just quietly moved to the alumni section page on the WWE website, which has a lot of people freaking talking. And they're wondering, oh, is Roman Reigns done? Is that it? Is he leaving the company? And because you have those that work on the dirt sheet websites, they pay attention to this person unfollowed this person, and oh, it looks like this person was moved from active status to alumni, or Hall of Fame section on the side, and all that. I would strategically do some crap like that just to mess with the wrestling community's heads. I'm hoping WWE goes in that direction, but that is a story in itself. Just let it breathe. Let the speculation run rampant. That would be my message to WWE in regards to how to handle Roman Reigns, what's next, and all of that good stuff. Let's see. All right, so let's get into some more wrestling little news and headlines before we get ready to wind down for the night and everything. I gotta share with you guys, by the way, because I know a lot of you guys had either reached out to me in a private message or you had sent me a email. My father-in-law, for those that don't know, my father-in-law had a scary incident out in public a couple of weeks ago, and luckily a good Samaritan had came across him and called an ambulance, and he was taken to the hospital. And malnutrition, dehydration for starters. There was just a whole bunch of stuff that was going on, vitamin deficiencies that was going on, and it's like, wait, what the hell is going on here? And a lot more light has been shed on, what's going on, why he was even put in that position. I won't talk about it here tonight because that's a different topic for another time. Has nothing to do with the Sanders household, though, because he's living out on his own. He shares a house with another person. And let me just say this. He's always taking care of that person, and he's not taking care of himself. Let's leave it like that. But he was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and then he got transferred to a rehab facility so that he can work on the strength in his legs, get his strength back, and because it was bad. He was in a wheelchair for a bit. So good news, after a couple of weeks, we actually were able to check him out of the rehab facility today, and I'm happy to say that he is back home. He is resting, and he's walking around. He has to do PT, though, physical therapy. He still has to do it a couple of times a week, so we're trying to iron that out for him, figure out the logistics, how we can make that work. We're trying to see if we can somehow set it up so that somebody can come to his house a couple of times a week for that PT. But to those that had said, said your prayers, best wishes, and all of that, really meant a lot. I appreciate that. Vince McMahon, TKO exit, it seems to be on the horizon here, as Vince McMahon apparently has sold a substantial amount of his TKO stock. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. He has sold a grand total of about $310 million in stocks to both Endeavor and TKO. And this transaction, which if everything goes accordingly to plan, should be finalized by the end of the business day, Wednesday of this week. This will reduce Vince McMahon's stake in TKO below 5%. Following his resignation from the TKO board, this obviously signifies a big major shift in his involvement with the company, TKO, Endeavor, WWE, as he is just selling big time. So when you break it down, he really holds about 4.7% interest in TKO stock. You know, it's safe to say, boys and girls, that before the year is up, I mean, at the rate that Vince McMahon is going right now, it is safe to say that maybe, and this is good. This is good, right? We want to, right? Just, yeah, let's move on, everybody. Let's move on. But this is good, right? So at the pace that he's going, is it safe to say that maybe by SummerSlam he is just officially he's going to be done? You know, or is it maybe going to hit right around November, like right before Thanksgiving? Is it maybe right around there? Who knows? Only time is going to tell, but I thought that was very interesting. You know, I've been paying attention as best as I could to see, you know, what's been going on with Vince McMahon and the continuation of him selling his stocks and all that. Something else that I want to have you guys go, did not consider that. I woke up Monday morning reflecting on, because that's what I usually do after the podcast, right? I think about some of the points I made on the post shows. I think about the final rating that I give a pay-per-view or a premium live event and go, okay, was that a fair enough rating? Is that definitely official, right? And sometimes I'll come back and I'll say, yeah, I had a little bit of time to think about it, and this is the direction I want to go. And, you know, one thing that came to mind when I woke up Monday reflecting on night 2 of WrestleMania, you know, there was a decent amount of people that crapped all over the fact that Undertaker had popped up and he did what he did to Roman Reigns, you know, and everybody's going, oh, that's messed up that, you know, they couldn't get Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's so messed up. And, you know, I started thinking to myself, well, how exactly does that make sense that Stone Cold Steve Austin would get involved in that, right? Everybody's looking at it. And I remember, like, after I posted what I posted on social media, which has picked up a good amount of traction, some folks were like, yeah, but, you know, just to see Steve Austin and The Rock one more time, like, that just would have blown the roof off of, you know, and I'm actually kind of glad that didn't happen, because I think that just would have been too much of a distraction there, all things considered and all that, and people would have been talking about that a lot more versus Cody Rhodes, right? I think that would have diluted it quite a bit. And I was quite taken back by the fact that a lot of people did not understand the Undertaker-Roman Reigns connection. Like, how soon we forget. It's like, hello, he's the second person to pick up a dub on The Undertaker, with the first being Brock Lesnar, obviously. But then, you know, let's not forget, the night after WrestleMania 33, Roman Reigns had came out there to a chorus of boos.
You know, baby.
Okay? You know, baby. You know what time it is. You know, baby. He came out to a chorus of boos. And the boos lasted, my God, I remember that night almost clear as day. Roman's ass was booed out of that arena for at least about 10 minutes. Roman just sucked that all in. He sucked it. He soaked it all in. And after about 10 minutes, 10 plus minutes, and I just loved how each time Roman tried to take the microphone to his mouth and the crowd just, you thought the Dominic Mysterio boos was something, okay? This was on a whole new other level, WTF. Finally, when he was able to speak, Roman goes, "It's my yard now," to a chorus of more boos as he drops the microphone, and that's basically it. That was his whole promo. So it made a lot of sense to see Undertaker have some type of involvement there in that main event match. And I actually had shared that revisionist history there. Well, you know, going down memory lane, if you will. I shared that memory lane on social media, and I haven't seen any detractors. I haven't seen anybody go, F you, man. I haven't seen any of that crap going on. everybody's like, hey, totally forgot about that. Hey, that makes a lot of sense. I've even seen some people say, hey, I hear you, I appreciate you, but man, it just would have been awesome to see Stone Cold and The Rock. Like, that's a whole different saga chapter for another time, it almost feels like, but it made a lot of sense. It's like, when you stop and think about it, you go, yeah. And right down to the point, remember what I said over the weekend? I said, look, I would not be surprised if we hear something along the lines of, hey, as far as those Stone Cold Steve Austin rumors, yeah, Undertaker, the plan was Undertaker was always going to have involvement in that main event match. That was always in the cards. I would not be surprised to hear that. Did you hear the news about Mick Foley? I wasn't even aware that this man was trying to do this. But Mick Foley was actually trying to get back into the ring one more time. I had to do a double take because I'm going, wait a minute. First of all, like when? Like, I don't understand what the hell's going on. So for those of you that maybe had missed this, I was kind of dumbfounded by this, but this is what he had to say, I believe on his podcast, or maybe he just uploaded a video to his YouTube channel. He said, and I quote, "Hey everyone, it's Mick Foley with an update on that final match I was thinking about having for my 60th birthday." All right, okay, so he was thinking about training, getting ready, and okay, so one more time, age 60, okay. As some of you know, I had to miss a couple of weekends of appearances because of dizziness and lightheadedness. After consulting with a couple of doctors and also using my own experience with concussions, the symptoms, they seem to point to a concussion that I did not know I received. I hadn't done too much in the ring, but I had done a little bit. I had noticed that I was lightheaded after one of the workouts, but thought it would go away. So it just seems like the wisest move, and one that's strongly supported by my family, is to call off that final match. If I can get concussed from something I'm not even aware of, then some of the things that I was thinking of doing, hoping of doing in a big match would not be smart. So with my family's urging and after careful thought, I decided there will be no final match. Now, I don't know about you guys, but God, I've been a Mick Foley fan as far back as I can remember. I mean, Jesus, definitely the ECW days. Definitely remember the Cactus Jack days. I definitely recall his time period there in WCW. So I've seen a lot of this man's career, right down to the point, tell you how much Mick Foley means to me, growing up as a wrestling fan and everything. I remember I had an opportunity to see him at the DC Improv several years ago for his one-man show. Great freaking time. Great freaking time. I had a hearty night of laughs, and I'll always remember from that whole set that he did, I'll always remember the drunk-ass woman that had asked a question, and Mick Foley was being such a sweetheart and answering her question, and she just kept power talking over him, and she kept injecting herself into his monologue, and Mick Foley, his patience only went but so far. And I remember, like, at one point, he said something that was a little bit, sassy, trying to basically put her in check, let her know, hey, look, I'm doing a show here. And I just remember her drunk ass goes, why are you talking to me like I'm stupid? She said some crap like that. And I remember there was overall, including myself and the wifey, I remember we all just let out this big old groan. And we're all looking around like, where the is security? Because this woman has obviously had too many drinks. We need her to go. And sure enough, somebody of the DC Improv staff, they came over and it was pretty much like, yo, we got a problem here because, man's trying to do a show. Like, might be time for you to call an Uber, right? But man, meeting Mick Foley, it was awesome. It was great telling him, hey, thanks for all the fun memories. You meant a lot to me. Growing up, watching wrestling and everything. Mick Foley is a sweetheart. I always tell people, if you've never met Mick Foley and you're in a position where for the very first time you're thinking about meeting a wrestling celebrity, and it's a case of, well, where do you start? Like, you want to get off on the right foot. You want to make sure that it's the best experience, best money well spent. I always tell people, top of the list, like number one, like not number one, number two, I always say Mick Foley. It's like one of the first two people that I always say, Mick Foley. The second person, Sting. Second person is Sting. The third person, actually, no. The second person is CM Punk, believe it or not. The second person is CM Punk. The third person would be Bret Hart. He obviously moved up the list there from, right? But those would be my top three. But Mick Foley, number one. First off, and I'm not going to be long-winded about this, but first off, Mick Foley, Jesus Christ, dude, you've already sacrificed so much of your body for our entertainment, for our amusement. Like, no, man, like, you don't need to do that. Let the body of work of matches that you've already done, let that be your testament, right? There's no reason to add on to that. You feel where I'm coming from? It's almost, to use a good analogy, it's almost like, I don't know what you guys are into, but just think about your favorite album. I don't care if it's from the jazz genre, rock, whatever, right? Rap, I don't care. Just think about your favorite album and how that album from beginning to end, it kicks major ass. And just imagine that band or that musician decides, I want to do a follow-up to this. And you're like, okay, a follow-up. Okay, well, color me curious. Let's, and it's kind of like, yeah, it comes out, right? It's a follow-up to that last album, right? Right down to the point you go, part 2. And you're like, oh, part 2, okay. And it's not good. Right down to the point, shouldn't have made this. It should have just stayed where it was. Like, nah, man, Mick Foley, he's done so much over the decades. We don't need to see a Mick Foley match. I don't care if he's 58, 59, if he's 60. Somebody could clear him tomorrow and just be like, here, just take this, rest for a couple of weeks, go back to training. You can have that match. I don't care if he gets the green light. I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that. I don't. I don't know what he's thinking. I really don't. I'm trying to think about, matter of fact, I'm going to look at it right now because that had me thinking, what was Mick Foley's last match? Now that I think about it, I'm going to type in Mick Foley matches. Wasn't it something with, no, it wasn't something with The Rock because he went into TNA for a hot minute. I'm trying to think if he did something after TNA, though. It's not coming back to me right now. But let's see. Hopefully these guys are updated because usually this Internet Wrestling Database, it's usually kind of hit and miss. So the last time he did something, according to this, was 2015. Omega Night of a Champion, February 28th, 2015. He took on Mickey Gambino. I got to check that out. And then before that, he participated in the 2012 Royal Rumble. Got eliminated by Sheamus. That was a 30-man Royal Rumble match. So, that's a long, long time to be out. Lord only knows. Remember what I was saying earlier about Father Time and everything? Lord only knows how Father Time has done physically on Mick Foley, right? And then here's the other thing that like most people don't think about either. It'd be one thing if, well, you always have been working out like a Hulk Hogan or a Triple H or a John Cena. So whether or a Rock, right? Here's the other thing that you got to think about too is like, okay, you're talking about getting into the ring and, but physically, where are you at now? Because that's almost 10 years since last you that's 10 years since last you did something. Almost 10 years since last you did something. The whole process of getting the body where it needs to be and then amping yourself up, psyching yourself up. Remember what Stone Cold Steve Austin had talked about in numerous interviews before eventually doing his return with Kevin Owens there at that one WrestleMania? Remember how he talked about, man, I just don't know. I don't want to be in that position where I'm doing all that training, getting my body back into shape, and then I'm getting in-ring shape ready. I'm doing all of that, and for what? To just have one match, and then there's that cool-down period afterwards. Now I got to go back to having a regular civilian life. Now that adrenaline is over, that I got to somehow turn that off. And Stone Cold was talking about how that is what essentially he was struggling with, and one of the main reasons why he wasn't interested in getting back into the ring, right? So for Mick Foley, it's like, can he successfully really honor, it's just one match, right? Or is that bug, the chasing of the dragon, as it was described in the Undertaker documentary there, Last Ride, if you guys recall, like, there's so much great body of work from Mick Foley. It's like, why even mess with that? Like, for me personally, when I look back on his time in TNA, like, I just go, man, I wish this didn't happen. I particularly wasn't really that fond of his time in TNA. It just felt like, all right, Mick Foley's trying to come out here, and I guess he's got something that he needs to prove or whatever. Okay, cool. Like, but it really wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I need to one of these days go back and look at some of those matches and just, I'm not saying everything was bad, but just, it wasn't needed as far as I was concerned. He really was not needed. He was there, for 1 year, I think it was, in TNA. I know he took on Bobby Lashley, the Icon Sting, Jeff Jarrett, Abyss, Kevin Nash, Samoa Joe. There were some matches in there, but no, leave it alone, dude. Seriously, leave it alone. We're good. We are good. Can you just picture GCW? Oh my God. Like, hypothetically speaking, let's just say he was going to go on ahead and do the match. Well, obviously, if you're going to do it anywhere, I would imagine you're going to go do it at GCW, right? And then as far as who the opponent is going to be, well, hands down, I would think Jon Moxley, right? Or would you all maybe say, no, maybe Eddie Kingston? Or no, not even Eddie Kingston. Maybe, I don't know how you not pick Jon Moxley personally. I'll give the devil his due. When it comes to freaking hardcore matches, Jon Moxley is definitely right up there these days. So, who else should get an honorable mention? I loved his stuff in MLW. Mance Warner. Man, give me a match between Mance Warner and Mick Foley. That would be, woo! Oh, that'd be badass. That would definitely be badass. Other than that, one other thing that I thought was interesting, I know that there was the WrestleMania post show. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it all in its entirety. I've seen little clips here and there, transcriptions here and there. But one thing that was kind of interesting, and shout out to Fightful for the transcription, was Triple H revealing the conversations that led to CM Punk returning to the Survivor Series. Nothing really new from what CM Punk touched upon in his interview with Ariel Helwani, which, by the way, crap like what the Young Bucks, Tony Khan, and AEW plan on doing this Wednesday, even if they're just trolling, which honestly, I'd be shocked if they actually show footage. I just, part of me is going, 90% of me is going, this is just a troll job that they're doing, right? Just to, we got you, right? That's what I see going down. Crap like that, though, is why I no longer watch Collision, why I no longer watch Dynamite. If I could have it my way, I would no longer watch Rampage, right? But I like Rampage. You know, it's a fast hour. I'm in, I'm out. I can just focus purely on the wrestling that's going on during that show. I don't have to worry about story arcs from Collision or Dynamite. For the most part, I can just stay invested and, you know, do my review for the wrestling site and keep it moving along and everything. I don't even mind the Battle of the Belt specials either. I don't even mind those, and the occasional pay-per-view. But I can't do it anymore. I just can't, you know, because it's like all this he said, she says, like, who cares? Just go do you. If this person wants to talk for the first time about what all went down, fine. Let them have their moment in the sun. No reason to be so damn reactionary, especially when you do have good things that's going on. You do have positives that's going on for your company. Still a lot of work that needs to be done, right? But one thing that I had thought was interesting from Triple H commenting here. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up. I'm looking at it right now, but I'm just skimming because there was one particular part that I thought was great. At least to me, I thought it was. Let's see. I got it. Triple H on Nick Khan asking him if he could have talks with CM Punk. Funny, if you had asked me a few weeks prior to that, there were rumors and all that stuff, but we had zero communication at that point. As we got closer to the event, there was a couple of conversations that happened between Punk and Nick Khan. Nick said to me, would you be opposed to me having a conversation and seeing where it goes? I said, no, I have no issues there. My concern is, what's the fit? It was still a long shot to me when I called Neil Lowy on the WWE music side to see about Cult of Personality, just in case. And then, of course, he talked about the day of the event, literally, inking the deal and all that other stuff. That was pretty good. But I like the part where Triple H mentions CM Punk, he's been nothing but a wonderful employee and a wonderful addition to the team. It's been so refreshing working with him that we've been keeping him part of everything while he's out injured. It's been great. There was another part to this that I had liked, which was the interesting conversations. Yeah, here it is. Over the next day or so, I had a lot of very interesting private conversations with a lot of people to air their grievances. You know what that's about. Some people in WWE, as it was reported, had concerns, trepidations about Punk being back in the company and all that, yada, yada, yada. I can say this about CM Punk is this: a completely different CM Punk than when he left. It's all been positive. It's been all for the positive. And he goes on, been a wonderful employee. So I just think that's so, so funny because like you're thinking about, oh, never feared for my life, lunged at me, and all this other stuff, and you're just going, like, really, like who does that? Who acts like just they're off their meds, right? Who acts like they're off their meds? Right? It's like, seriously, man. That's some crazy stuff, man. Other than that, I gotta confirm this. My wife tagged me in something. I gotta confirm this with friends and colleagues of the podcasting community, but my wife had posted something on my timeline talking about Extreme Championship Wrestling coming to Peacock in 2025. Like, I'm looking and I'm thinking, this must have been an April Fool's joke, because the first thing I'm doing, I'm looking at the date of when it was posted, and then I cross-reference. I don't see it mentioned anywhere else, and I'm going, this has to be April Fool's. And now that I've actually put that out in the open, I am 100% damn sure it is a April Fool's joke. So I wish we could say, let's pretend I didn't say that. But now it's out there in the air. So forever, for all eternity, Lee Sanders almost got by a April Fool's prank there. I got to get back into pranking. I love freaking pranking. All right, so as far... TV news. Let's get into that real quick. So I told you guys that there was like a whole bunch of TV shows that, some got picked up, some got canceled, and all that. Right now, I'm just going to share with you the shows that's been canceled so far for 2024. This may shock some of you guys, especially if you're a fan of these shows. Death and Other Details, which is on Hulu. Mandy Patinkin, loved him on Chicago Hope. Loved him. I was heartbroken when he left, and then he came back, made sporadic appearances. Hell of a good actor. Wasn't he on Criminal Minds? He was the original guy on Criminal Minds. Let's see, but Mandy Patinkin and Violet Bean starred in this show set amidst the glamour of the global elite per Hulu. Imogen Scott, Benny, becomes the prime suspect in a locked room murder mystery on a lavishly restored Mediterranean ocean liner. To prove her innocence, she must partner with the world's greatest detective, whom she happens to despise. That got canceled after one season. It got canceled March 29th. Uncoupled. This is apparently on Netflix Showtime, created by Darren Star. It stars Neil Patrick Harris. Well, damn, you can't go wrong with Neil Patrick Harris, right? But apparently this really didn't click. He plays a newly single gay man named Michael, where per Netflix, overnight, he has to confront two nightmares: losing the man he thought was his soulmate, and suddenly finding himself a single gay man in his mid-40s in New York City. Sorry, that doesn't sound interesting. I thought we were going to go for he's a homosexual serial killer. I thought maybe we were going to go in that direction, almost kind of pull a Jeffrey Dahmer. Showtime tried to save it from cancellation early last year, but their efforts were not fruitful. They uncoupled with the idea of a season 2 in March. So for those of you that are curious, there is a season 1 running around. Rooster Teeth, we know that, didn't they like just go bankrupt or something like that? Like they're shutting it down or something. Red versus Blue. Synopsis for that: long ago in a pre-YouTube essay era of the internet, someone made a machinima show using Halo. The success of Red vs. Blue spun out into a whole company, Rooster Teeth, which was eventually subsumed by Warner Brothers Discovery. And y'all know what happened in regards to Warner Brothers Discovery, the merger and all that. Rooster Teeth announced its shutdown on March 6th, as well as the final season of Red vs. Blue. 19 seasons canceled on March 6th. You got The Brothers, Son, Netflix. The Fool, which is on Hulu, that got canceled. Ratchet, Netflix. Obliterated, Secrets of the Sulphur Springs, Disney Channel. Wolfpack, Disney Plus. Flight Attendant on Max. Rap Shit on Max. That got canceled after 2 seasons. I heard decent things about that one. Julia, Max. Our Flag Means Death, Max. Minx, Stars. American Born Chinese, Disney Plus. That got canceled. Probably one of the bigger shockers, especially for the 18 to 29, maybe 29 to 36 demo. Stars had canceled. I got the show in my head. I just, because it all blends after a while, you got to bear with me. Power. They canceled Power Ghosts. So the show with Tariq. They canceled that one. So Tariq, the actor that plays Tariq, he's getting his wish. He's talking about how he didn't see himself committing to that series for an extended period of time as he was getting antsy to work on other projects and everything. So, I'm like this, while the money is still good, just let the good times roll, right? But I guess 50 Cent and the rest of the executive producers heard that and decided, okay, well, let's go ahead and let's put a plug on this. So it's coming back this summer, and they're going to be breaking the season down in 2 halves, right? They'll do 1 half, and then they'll come back 3 months later, do the second half, and that's pretty much going to be it. Probably the other show that really stood out to my mind, Curb Your Enthusiasm, which wasn't canceled. It ended its respected run over the weekend. I've heard nothing but good things about the finale. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Probably not really a shocker, but I know a lot of fans were really, really hopeful that things would work out for it. Quantum Leap has been canceled for a second time. So for those of you that are not aware, Quantum Leap, the original series, which starred Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell, that got canceled after 5 seasons, and it ended on such a messed up cliffhanger. You're like, right? And many Quantum Leapers were hoping that at some point there could be some type of a movie that could string everything together. And when we first heard about this rebooted series that was basically going to be a continuation, but just follow a new leaper, I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens. And of course, burning question, is Scott Bakula going to have some type of involvement in this series? He let it be known off the break that he was not, but that he was, definitely encouraging the cast and crew, hey, go out there, hit a home run and everything. Numbers were pretty solid for the first season. I think that was mainly because of the curiosity. But then when it came to the second season, that's where things started to get a little, don't get me wrong. A lot of the episodes were very strong, especially when you had brought in a new love interest for Ben Sung. Also, you brought in a new antagonist, who was almost about to be a evil leaper, so to speak, and everything. But you just felt that there was something off, with season 2. And I can't tell you if it had changed day and time, because I remember initially it was coming on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. I believe for the second season, it got switched up. I believe, don't quote me on that, but I believe it got knocked out of its time slot and put on a different day and time. And then the other thing that didn't help, you would have several weeks go by where after a certain amount of episodes for the second season, they would show something else for those stretch of weeks in its respected time period, and then it would come back. Like, there wasn't enough advertising. I didn't see enough social media buzz and engagements and all that when I look at the first season and compare it to the second season. I remember telling my wife, because she watched every single episode of the first season with me, and we both were kind of like, doesn't look good here. Now, it stars Raymond Lee, and I can't think of the girl's name, but they did offer comments and all that. Raymond had this to say, which is, just wanted to say a thank you to our Quantum Leap fans and those who've tuned in. Your support was felt and always warmly received. You all have made it a ride of a lifetime. We're so proud of the show we made and more proud of the stories we got to tell. And selfishly for me, I got to make some really awesome friends along the way. If and when another group gets a hold of the accelerator and its capabilities, may they find us floating in time, still striving to put right what once went wrong. So, it's rather unfortunate what had happened here. And, I mean, not for nothing, but the cast was pretty damn strong. You had Ernie Hudson, right, from Ghostbusters, right? You had him. So that's pretty damn good. You also had, bear with me a second here. Bear with me a second here. Getting a weird goddamn glitch here. You had, I'm trying to think of their name because I want to give them their respective flowers, but, oh God, I can't think of their name. They were involved in that Netflix live action Sandman series. If you bear with me a second, I'll be able to tell you. Mason Alexander Park as Ian Wright. Phenomenal actor. I loved seeing. I'm instantly a fan of their work. I love their stuff. Good shit as far as I'm concerned. You had Caitlin Bassett, Addison. I thought she did pretty good. You had a really good supporting cast, I would have to say. Very strong cast, and this happens. It sucks. It sucks. Obviously, the series meant a lot to me, so you guys got to forgive me, man. But I tell you this much, speaking of shows, I'm going to see what's up for this week, but I'm supposed to be sitting down with Mitch Thomas of Wrestling Soup and John Draper from Shitball Media. We're supposed to be sitting down at some point this week. We got to hammer out a day and time. We're going to talk about the first half of X-Men 97. So make sure you're staying connected to the social media feeds so that when it goes down live and or becomes available for on-demand downloads, y'all will know what's up and you'll be able to scoop it up and everything. I don't know if you guys can see in the background, but there's a really cool Wolverine figure that I had acquired recently, and I freaking love it. Yeah, you pay attention to what's going on in the background from in there. You'll see some really interesting stuff and little cameos as well. All right, as far as your next edition, that's going to be coming at you guys. Maybe we'll do something Thursday or Friday. Who knows? We'll have to see what's going on. Give me a second here. Boom. Who knows? It just depends. I know one thing is for certain. I do want to talk about this upcoming WrestleMania XL peek behind the curtain documentary that's getting ready to drop on YouTube. I got some thoughts in regards to that. Look, in a nutshell, I don't think that's something that should be revealed to the general public right now. If you maybe wanted to revisit it and release it 5 years down the road, hey, it's been 5 years since WrestleMania 40. Okay, I'd be down with that. Or as you hit WrestleMania 50, you go ahead and, You released this documentary on WrestleMania 40. Okay, all right, cool. I can, right? This just feels like, wait, this is too much. This is too much. I get the day and the age that we're in now, but, you know, it's okay to have some mystique there, right? Keep the fans guessing. I like checking out certain movies, and then when I get ready to own it on DVD, going to the special features section and going, how was this made? How did they do that? What was the whole process and all that? I love all of that. Don't get me wrong. You know, but then there's just some things where I go, okay, some things are better left unsaid. Some things are better left untouched. Some things are just better left to be unknown, right? And this documentary is just one of those type of deals, man. But I'm going to check it out. I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to check it out. But that's just my personal feelings on that. It's so funny, too, because I remember earlier tonight, I watched the extended trailer that they showed during one of the commercial breaks on Raw. And I was watching with my wife, and we both literally said at the same time, I don't know about that one. And I was like, well, you go first. What's the vibe you're picking up? And she was like, no, you go first. I'm like, well, da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, that's exactly how I feel. It's like, I really don't want to know all of that. Like, you know, as a fan, she's a casual fan. Like, you know, she rarely sees what's going on because she's mostly working. So she likes to be in that moment. She don't want to know what's going on in between. Right? She don't want to know the nitty gritty. She wants to be left in awe and asks, wait, does this person really hate? Oh man, are they really injured? Right? She's in that realm like some fans are, and that's cool. That, you know, I like that segment of wrestling fans that don't read the dirt sheets, don't check out the wrestling podcasts and all of that, right? They want to be entertained. They want to be awed. Any questions, right? They want to be living in that moment, which is cool, man. That's the stuff that dreams are made of. But yeah, we'll see if we could do something maybe Thursday, Friday, potentially Saturday later this week. Just stay connected to the feeds, and we'll definitely make it happen. In the meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR Show. Get at your man on X, Facebook, YouTube. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Shout out to those of you that checked out the stream across multiple outlets. Shout out to our folks that checked out the stream via X. Shout out to you guys that had checked it out via YouTube. For my YouTube crew, especially if you're checking this out for on demand, if you enjoyed what I did here, make sure you hit the like button. Really helps put more eyeballs on the content, my pretty babies. Until next go round, I am wishing all of you all to be safe, and most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all. Take care.